Hi there, my name is Krista Decabor and I am being interviewed. These are my practice interview questions. All right, the first one, what drew you to the early childhood profession? So what drew me to the early childhood profession is I've always been a fan of children. Ever since I was little, I was the neighborhood babysitter. I was the nanny. I was always the one that the neighbors called, hey, I need your help. You want to make some money? And any 13-year-old, of course, I wanted to make some money. While watching these kids, I thought, wow, what is going on inside those little minds of theirs? Look how they're acting, look how they're reacting, just walking around. They're just always so happy. What's making them cry? So I was always interested in their social, emotional, cognitive growth, and I wanted to become a a positive, creating a positive, nurturing learning environment for these kids. In high school, I obtained my CDA in 12th grade, and I went ahead and was a lead teacher in the Head Start program there. And that was kind of cool because I did not have to go to work or go to school in 12th grade. It's called School to Work program, and they just let me go teach kids all day. That was really fun. Before that, though, I actually had to take a program. It was early childhood, and it was my 9th, 10th, and 11th grade classes. And I ended up getting my certificate through those 3 classes, and I was able to obtain some college credits, which was really cool. I have come to understand that childhood educators are not just they're not just teachers, but we are the children's advocates, and we have to collaborate with them and their families, and we're always going to be lifelong learners. So this profession allows me to build meaningful relationships with children and their families and promote developmentally appropriate practices like my lesson plans. I'm always I love incorporating games and art in my lesson plans. So I think that's this being creative impacts children's confidence and curiosity and their future success. Starting off little, going into the elementary school, they're still curious and creative, and I just always think that's important for children. Also, I have many years experience teaching as an ECSE teacher, and I just feel like it's important to advocate for these children, especially children who cannot speak for themselves or don't know how to speak for themselves. Number 2, what do you consider to be your chief responsibilities as an early childhood professional? I believe that my chief responsibilities is to create a safe, inclusive, and developmentally appropriate learning environment for the whole child. When I say the whole child, I talk about the children from the ground up, from emotional, physical, the whole entire child, and then we will worry about academics. My children, I'm a 3rd grade teacher this year. My children in my school now, they are it's a urban school, and there's a lot of trauma and emotional problems in my school, and a lot of homelessness and foster families and all of that. So it is my responsibility for my children now to advocate for them and their families by getting the community together to help them. I see professionalism as a core responsibility in my role. Uh, I am responsible for maintaining confidentiality and modeling respectful behavior and always building my professional knowledge base. I have attended so many professional development days, and most of those professional development days are based on emotional, social emotional. How are we going to fix our babies? How are we going to help our children overcome these emotional roller coasters that they are going through? Sign me up. I will always go to classes and trainings, and it's going to be my responsibility to keep my brain informed about everything, so that I can pass that off to my children. What is the role of collaboration in professional practice? Address collaboration with other professionals as well as families. So collaboration is very essential to have an effective professional practice in early childhood, because children develop best when their parents, their grandmas, their aunties, any family member, parapros, their special education teachers, anybody who is there to build this child up and stick together and link together will help these children, will help them. It's important to know everybody's cultural background in your classroom. It is important to get to know each child and each of their families, so that, for example, I have 3 Hispanic families in my classroom, and I have one who came over from Africa. And I always involve them. I involve their families. I say, hey, do you want to bring in these toys for show and tell? Tell us about where you got them, what they're made out of. Bring some books, recipes that we can maybe make as a I call our classroom family. Our classroom family. It's very important to work collaboratively with everybody available. Everybody who is willing to be available, work with those families and other teachers, paraprofessionals, colleagues, teachers that had them before. It supports consistency, accountability, and shared responsibility within the early childhood community. Number 4, what strategies do you routinely utilize to ensure that you are critically reflecting on your own growth as an early childhood professional? To ensure I am critically reflecting on my growth as an early child professional, I regularly engage in self-assessment and reflective practice. Every day, I reflect on my children's interactions with them. I might have said something, I might have thought I said something differently than what came out, like what I wanted to say, and then I'll just think about it, and then I will go up to that child and say, I'm sorry, I should have said this. This is what I meant to say. If that did not come out clear, I will explain myself to the child, and I will apologize, because children need apologies. My classroom management strategies, it's always a learning behavior. It's always a learning process, always. What might work one day isn't going to work the next day. Instructional decisions to identify what is working well and what areas needed for improvement. I personally like it when I get my principal involved and the superintendent, and they come in and observe classrooms, and I get a nice email after they observe my classroom for 45 minutes saying what I need to do. They usually tell me I'm doing a good job, but they like to say, this is what you should be working on more, or I suggest you do this. That really, really helps me. And that's how I make better decisions for the future. The supervisors and colleagues, I will take any advice from any of them. I intentionally seek professional development opportunities that align with my goals in areas for growth, such as learning more about inclusive practices and child-centered teaching strategies. Having a classroom of 30 and everybody is at a different grade level. Everybody learns differently. Some have developmental delays. Some are almost there, but not quite. I have to learn how to visit each child when they need it, what to give them, and I just keep a notebook and I keep folders and I go ahead and I put all their work in their folders, and I eventually start seeing progress in these children. Number 5. Briefly describe an issue that might be the focus of current or future advocacy efforts and explain why advocacy is a hallmark of professionalism in the early childhood field. One issue that may be the focus of advocacy is the need for increased support, recognition, and compensation for early childhood educators and the children. Educators, we are number one. We get these children, early childhood educators get these children trained, potty trained. They get them to wash their hands, the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, and then the elementary school continues, and it just continues and continues and continues and becomes a stepladder for the child to develop into an adult and go out into real life, have real life experiences. It is very important that we advocate for other teachers, other educators, schools, children, in all early childhood programs. It's very, very important. Advocacy is a hallmark of professionalism because it demonstrates a commitment not only to individual classrooms, but to the field as a whole. By staying informed and up to date on meetings and up to date on news, and by participating in professional organizations and professional development days, we have to participate with families and children, and everybody has to come together. By staying informed with all this, I can contribute to a positive change and help strengthen the future of early childhood education and the children. It's really, really important to always continue your education. It doesn't matter if you have a teaching degree right now or if you have a doctorate in something else and you want to move along or learn about special education services, then get your other special education degree, get your PhD in early childhood, you want to help the schools more, you need to continue your education, because the more you continue your education, the more you can help children and families and the school district and other teachers, and it's just really, really important. It's really important. Thank you for your time.